Hello and welcome to episode 280, that is 280, of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. Howdy do, I am Mark. If this is your first time with us, howdy do. Again, that one was just for you. What I do is every week, every Sunday, I play some tracks from a live recording of either Led Zeppelin or Led Zeppelin adjacent. In this case, this week it is Led Zeppelin adjacent, because I will be playing some tracks from the live recording of John Paul Jones in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at Fubar, great name, on, scrolling, March 10th in the year 2000. And again, club's name is The Fubar. This is a great DAT recording, fantastic digital recording. Love it. This is a small bar with maybe 200 people capacity from what the taper said. The sound is incredible. You can hear Jonesy. It is very intimate. It is very cool, and the sound is fucking amazing. I spent a good part of the afternoon, meaning 20 minutes, looking for Jonesy shows, because I have some, and I've done a couple, but and on my Patreon I've done a whole bunch. I've done some of his more esoteric stuff, like all the sets that he did at Big Ear in this past summer, etc. I've done that, but looking for some Thunder Thief shows, because I have a ton of Zooma, including this is a Zooma tour. Zooma is his first solo album. His first solo release was with Diamanda Gallis in 1994 with The Sporting Life. Then he did Zooma, then he put out Thunder Thief in 2001. This is a Zooma tour, a recording, and it is really badass. Exceptionally badass because it's in such a small, intimate venue. This is the best. So let's jump in, shall we? John Paul Jones, of course, bass player for Led Zeppelin, multi-instrumentalist, and his solo albums are multi-instrumentalist. He plays 8 million instruments in addition to the bass, many myriad kinds of basses, lap steel bass, triple neck guitar, mandolin, guitar, keyboards of all sorts. He's a composer, he's an arranger. He's an impressive man. He is the secret sauce for Led Zeppelin. And I love him, and I've never seen him live. That's a bummer. And I probably have missed the chance at this point because he's almost 80. So, let that be a lesson to you. Take the opportunity to see your legends when you have them. All right, here endeth the lesson. We are going to start with a lovely track off of Zooma called Grind. And it sounds incredibly badass, as you will hear. So let us listen to the badassery and bear witness to the majesty that is Grind. Again, John Paul Jones, March 10th, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the Fubar.
Okay, what was that? That was Goose. That was Goose out of Zooma. Now we're going to do more from that, Grind. Technology loves me tonight, I think.
Incredible. Incredible for being such a small venue where you know that if you spoke to Jonesy, he would hear you. Even if you have to raise your voice, he would hear you clearly because he's just right there. Not right there like on the stage in a theater, or not right there like on the stage at an arena. On stage at a bar, right there. You could throw your beer at him and hit him. Not that you would. Super crazy. My only issue with Jonesy's solo stuff is that I'm waiting for it to kind of go somewhere. It sounds like it's a great like demo kind of thing of like, oh, that's incredible. Now waiting for, Jimmy or a guitarist to go in and lay some shit down on there over top of it. But that is me. I don't know. I know a couple other people I know feel the same way. It's not a dig at Jonesy. It's just that's what happens when you're putting out this kind of instrumental music of Jonesy's. I mean, he's a bass player. What's he going to do? Super great. Again, you heard the sound quality, remarkable. And being such an intimate venue, it's even more remarkable because you get all the clarity that you need. And it even captured some of the really deep, powerful bass, which is easy. That's kind of something that happened on the 77 tour when Jonesy switched from the Fender to the Alembic bass. With active pickups, 8-string, I think it was, all kinds of fancy shit. And one of the things it had was a giant, monstrous subwoofer. So the bass was incredibly powerful, but it was incredibly low, and a lot of handheld bootleg bullshit microphones did not pick up on it. So oftentimes when we have 77 stuff, we hear a more tinny sound of the bass because we're only hearing what's coming out of the treble horns, not capturing all that horribly horrific, terrifying, demonic bass that was just crushing everybody and crunching their skulls. So we make do with what we have. There we go. The next track I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, is a track from his 1985 soundtrack for the movie Scream for Help. Remember when Jimmy did Death Wish 2? That was for a movie producer named Michael Winner, who was a neighbor of Jimmy. I think he lived on the other side of Chris Squire. But right there, basically Jimmy's next door or almost next door neighbor. And he makes shitty action movies. Just grinds them out. So Scream for Help, shitty action movie. Asked if Jimmy wanted to do it, and Jimmy was like, no, man, I've got my shit together. I'm in a band now. Ask Jonesy. And Jonesy did it. And the cool thing about it is some really neat people showed up on the album. Even though the movie is nothing to write home about, the album has some cool shit. And one of those cool people is Jimmy Page, who appeared on 2 tracks with Jonesy on the Scream for Help album. So if you didn't know that Jimmy and Jonesy actually recorded and released music together in the 80s, that's something to track down. And one of the tracks that Jimmy played on was this song called Crackback. And it's a great riff. And I am fond of it because senior year in high school, my band, such as it was, and I played this at the high school talent show, the senior show, or whatever you want to call it. Abba-dabba-dango is what they called it, I think. Ooh, pulled that from the deep recesses of my mind. And, yeah, fantastic. Super cool shit. Let's listen to it. Crackback soundtrack for Scream of Help, written and released in 1985 with Mr. James Patrick Page. And a funny anecdote I just remembered from the recording sessions of this. I guess there was just a young session drummer, kind of just a hired hand in the studio. And he was young, high school or early college, just a young kid. And he was in the sessions with Jimmy and Jonesy, and he really caught the vibe of like everybody being super intense and super on it, and lots of people in the control room just watching. And he's like, there's more to this than I realize, isn't there? Who are these guys? And they're like, that's Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin. And he was like, holy fuck. So imagine that. Imagine A, not knowing who they are, finding out who they are, and then realizing you have to play behind them, and holy mackerel. Luckiest day in that kid's life. All right. Crackback. Still March 10th, still the year 2000. Enjoy.
Okay, this is something else. I need you to understand.
You see what I mean? Maybe about just the repetition needing to go somewhere else from there. Now that's just me, and that's his jam, and he's John Paul fucking Jones. So I'm not casting aspersions. I'm not saying it's wrong, or it's just, this is how it strikes me. I'm like, that's amazing. Where's the rest? Build on that. Where's Jimmy? You know, where's somebody... I don't know, though. I don't know, unfortunately, who the musicians are on this tour. It's not included in the notes, and I wasn't able to say. I looked on Wikipedia and didn't see who the tour musicians are. I don't know if it's Trey Gunn from the album or not, but it's a trio, obviously, Jonesy, drummer, guitarist, and it's very, very good, and the sound is very, 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 very incredible, and as is the performance. So, hope you're digging it. And now it's time for the spiel. You can find me wherever you find podcasts, because you know that because you found me already. I am also on Facebook. There's a Facebook group with about 300 people in it for Heart of Markness podcast. You're welcome to join that and hang out with some wonderful people who love classic rock and Zeppelin as much as you do, maybe more. I am on X as Heart of Markness, not for much longer because X has turned into a dumpster fire. I get on there. X is what Elon Musk turned Twitter into. And it's all politics and just people getting murdered and naked women. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just, that's all it is now. So I will probably be going to Blue Sky or something else, but I am there now, and you can reach me there now. And I'm also on YouTube under the name Heart of Markness. I have a YouTube channel. Same thing. I post these there for folks who like YouTube. Heart of Markness Instagram. Heart of Markness Zepp Podcast is what it's called. On Instagram, follow me. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter /X, and bringing up the rear is my own website, which is heartofmarkness.com. And the purpose for that is every time I do one of these episodes, I post a posting on my website that includes the podcast itself, but also a link to the complete recording. What's the complete recording, you may ask? Well, that's the complete recording of this. I'm not using everything that was recorded, because that would just be, then it would just be a pure bootleg podcast playing it, which some people want me to do. But no, I play a few things, give you a taste, and you can see if you want. So here, if you do want to go and grab that, here is the set list. Opens with Zooma, goes into Goose, goes into Grind, which you heard, and then The Smile of Your Shadow, No Sumi Blues, No Quarter, Spaghetti Junction, that's another song off the Scream for Help soundtrack, That's the Way, Tease, into Going to California, Mandolin, Steal Away, Snake Eyes, Nobody's Fault But Mine, Triple Neck Solo, Crackback, which we just heard, Bass and Drums into Heartbreaker, B Fingers, Jump Blues, When the Levee Breaks, finishing up with Tidal, which is Tidal, T-I-D-A-L, not T-I-T-L-E, Tidal. The encore is Black Dog, and it looks like there's a few soundcheck bonus tracks tacked on at the end of a sound check for Grind, Snake Eyes, more Grind, and Spaghetti Junction. So you can go to heartofmarkness.com, find this, search for it if you need to. John Paul Jones would be a good thing. Find the posting for that, get the show for yourself, and enjoy it to your heart's content. That's what it's all about. And this is all courtesy of the Titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast. And I am, of course, speaking of my beloved patrons. I also have a Patreon. No shit, really? Yes, context clues would have put that together. Patreon.com/heartofmarkness. You want to go there and see if there's something for you. You get your own, a couple of episodes just for you if you're a patron every month. Cool beans, man. The latest one I did was last week when I did the radio broadcast of Montreux, Led Zeppelin Montreux, 1970. How many more times off the radio from the mixing board? Sounded pretty good. Yeah, but they used that for the Divinity release, Mark. I already have that. You have a highly processed higher gen copy of that, my friend. I have the source from the person from whom that source appeared. Posted again a couple weeks ago on Dime a Dozen. Grabbed it, played it, showed it for my patrons, and they heard it, and perhaps you didn't. Rectify that by becoming a patron at patreon.com/heartofmarkness. And lastly, sorry about this, this is getting more and more intense as time goes on. I have a store merch. Coffee cups, t-shirts, beanies, stickers. You know the drill. merchofmarkness.com. And you can also find that at heartofmarkness.com. You'll see a window for the merch store. And on YouTube, you can get to the merch store through that too. They're embedded there. As well as a Ko-Fi link on my podcast. If you were so enamored with the podcast that you wanted to contribute one time and not monthly, there's a Ko-Fi link on my website, heartofmarkness.com, and embedded in the posts themselves, if you're so moved to do so. Here endeth the lesson. One more song for you. Whew, thanks for getting through that, guys. That was a bit. 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever. Last track I'm going to play for you, friendos, is B Fingers. And I think you'll be able to deduce what the B stands for. It is not baking soda. Here we go.
This isn't one to relax on, I have to say.
Okay, crank it up. Turn it up. Yeah.
Absolute badassery. I like that one a lot. The guitar went crazy. The drums were doing well. Fantastic, fantastic performance, fantastic song, fantastic artist, Mr. John Paul Jones, who in, I think, a year and a month, it'll be October 2025, he is going to be premiering a new piece. And I think it's one of his classical pieces. I cannot remember. I don't know much more other than next year, Jonesy's going to have some stuff for us. Aren't we lucky? All right, friendos, thank you very much for listening. Go to heartofmarkness.com. Find those tracks and shows that you want to download for free. All this is for free. Go to the merch of Markness, buy a coffee cup, buy t-shirts, buy stickers, buy hats, buy hoodies, buy it all. It will make you happy. The purchasing of material goods will make you happy. And, what else we got? Yeah, that's it. Patreon. Consider becoming a patron if that moves you as well. All right, I guess that covers it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to reach me and you don't want to use any of the 10,000 avenues that I listed earlier, you can reach me at mark@heartofmarkness.com on top of everything else. Thank you. I'll talk to you next week. Please be good to yourselves and each other, and I hope you enjoy.